Every time I see a video of Anthony Richardson doing what Anthony Richardson does, which is get up and hi on people all over the place, I get more and more excited for him in that Shane Steichen offense, where he's going to be doing a little bit of this, and then he's going to be out in the break. You see this when he breaks the second line, and nothing.
Jeez.
Like these. Don't like how much he the knee there, on the landing. And that guy obviously said, this motherfucker's unreal. This dude's an alien. Could you imagine showing up and seeing Anthony Richardson playing your pickup? And I will say this about Indiana basketball. Good Indiana basketball players. Pickup games here in Indiana are good. So especially down at that Irsay YMCA downtown that Jim Irsay and his family donated $40 million to or something like that to have happen. Yeah. What do we need? We need a gym. For who? Well, your grandkids are you got it, fucking $40 million. What do we need to get Lolita on a 10-hour flight. How do we do that? Well, just build a fucking aquarium and a plane. How much is that? 15, whatever, fucking 15. Easy. Jim Irsay is an awesome asset to have on your side. We all learned that yesterday. But so is Anthony Richardson. Yes. I do not like, though, how they're talking about Anthony Richardson right now, AJ. Jim Irsay is like, well, brother, lighting a cig. Peyton Manning played a lot of college football, almost won a Heisman or whatever, and he went 3-13 his first year. I'm like, wait a minute, why is that the first thing you're saying? Yeah. Why is that the first thing you're saying? Then you hear everybody's. I think they're trying to temper expectations as much as possible, probably for the pressure on him. But as an Indianapolis Colts fan, we had the most boring and horrific offense in the NFL last year. Yep. And the thought of that guy who's doing that down at the Irsay YMCA, and we've seen other videos, is now going to be on the field, immediately gets me excited. But it seems like the Colts are trying to tell you, like, let's fucking relax. But I don't want to hear it, AJ. I don't want to hear that.
You should want to hear it, though. This is something that I know Michael Lombardi always gets pissed when teams say, oh, this guy is light years ahead of where he was last year at this point. Like, it's usually talking about quarterbacks. When he's saying, hey, you're doing the guy a disservice because all the fans and everybody who are watching are going to expect this guy to be a finished product when he gets on the field. No, I think the Colts are smart. They know this guy is an absolute freak. Like, how easy he's going to dunk it and like everything about it. I would just be worried, like, hey, man, don't get hurt. That's all I care about. When I'm talking about him. But hey, he's so good. I think it's great. Like, keep the expectations low. So everything the guy does, like, just kind of ease him along. And who knows? He may be day one starter. You never know.
Hey, Pat, I think.
Don. Go ahead.
I think you should be geeked, though, because the athletic ability that he's showing us, and we've seen that he can throw the ball a mile away. I think you should be happy. It should be exciting.
Me too.
Now, he might not make every throw. We understand that. He's going to throw some interceptions, but it's a lot of ways that he can be really good without just using his arm every play.
And I think that picture that was just shown, like, this dude's bought into being an Indy because, remember, there was a time where people were saying you shouldn't draft this guy, especially at 4, because he hasn't played enough football. So, like, with the Colts taking a shot on him at 4, I think he is the most grateful guy in this entire draft from the way he's talked. Obviously, he led off with the Marshawn Lynch joke and the way his family spoke. His little brother, who sounds like he's Forrest Whitaker, but he's actually 12 years old or whatever the case. Like, I love the cut of this guy's jib. I absolutely love it and enjoy it. Every highlight I see of him, I get excited. Every act of kindness I see him do, I get excited. The future is very bright. But how long is that future going to be, Con, man? You know, how long? What? Because when you're living in it, when you're living in it, it's a lot longer than 10 years from now. You look back, like, remember he had those 2 years that weren't. It's like 2 years. That's $500,000 worth of suite expenses.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
long time. Well, I mean, that is without the escalation. Let's be realistic here. It's probably close to $1 million, maybe $750,000, depending on how much they want to use you for their promos, and then it'll probably be an added fee after that. But if we're thinking just like this year,
that did happen.
Probably, yeah, it did happen. Probably, not going to happen because I just always go back, especially in these situations where it's like athletic freak can throw it a mile. You just go to Josh Allen. Like Josh Allen, it took him 2 years. That third year they went to the playoffs, and even then they were still, a wild card team, but they were still a good team. And with Steichen, it does feel like the same with Buffalo with Josh Allen, where it's a perfect situation. Yeah. They're going to kind of cater the team towards him. I do think they're going to be kind of decent, which sucks because I hate the Colts, but I do feel like with Richardson, with some sort of like, okay, this isn't going to be a guy who's going to be here for a year and then we're going to go through, learning the system with another quarterback next year like they have the last 4 years. This does feel like, even for the players like Quentin Nelson and Ryan Kelly, who might not have had the best year, like it's like a second wind with a rookie, and he's 20. So it's not as if he is 25, 24, he's coming out of college and he only played his senior year. Like, he's 20 years old. They have 3 years before he's even kind of what all the other rookies are at. I know Mac Jones, I think Kenny Pickett too. They came in at 23. Yeah. So if you're just looking at age-wise, then he has tons of time. But, yeah, it is going to be 2 years of, a lot of money towards season ticket holders and watching this team kind of develop. But you're still going to get that, 80-yard touchdown run from Anthony Richardson out of nowhere. Kind of like Justin
Which
Fields.
we need.
Yes, exactly. Which just puts asses in seats, or actually the asses are always in seats no matter what happens at Lucas Oil, but at least puts people in some sort of perspective of like, hey.
That was kind of a compliment and a shot. At the same time, I don't know how to feel. I'm kind of
incredibly comfortable. And that is a compliment to both Jim Irsay and the taxpayers of the city who are paying for the stadium, and it is also kind of a sign of what the team has been as of late. So at least you are getting that.
But you're saying they're still going to the games, which they do. The Colts fans will go to the games. That 1 year, so obviously winningest decade in the history of the NFL happened. I came in the last 3 years of that. Okay, so I was towards the tail end, very lucky to kind of watch the way they operated. The way that team operated, the way Jim Caldwell operated, just the way. I was fortunate as fuck to come in towards the end of that. And then obviously they're winning too. So it's like a lot of fun. Yeah, I was having a blast. A little bit too much fun is what everybody would say. But whenever you're watching like the tail end of that thing, you also notice that the fans are just like, hey, this is what this is now. Like we win 12 games a year. We win 11 games a year. We get to the playoffs. The season doesn't start to the playoffs. That's kind of how the Colts fans. Then Peyton ends up with that neck injury, spine injury. And the first time I found out about that during training camp, and I thought I was pretty close with the guy. I don't know how many people really knew. He had wires coming out of him. And all of a sudden we go 2-14 that year. Fans are showing up with bags on their head. They're still selling out the stadium, okay? Still selling out the stadium, still showing up. But they're showing up like it's the fucking Cleveland Browns. Like, embarrassment. This is embarrassment. It's like, okay, so Colts fans have come to expect, like, we're winning.
Yeah.
But Colts fans will still show up if you're not, but they're going to let the team know, like last year, boy, there was 70,000 people in that stadium every single week that wishes they were watching anything else other than those fucking horrible football games. So if this guy comes in, does a couple backflips, does a couple fucking long throws, that's a win. That's a fucking win, I think, as a guy who's trying to build a business. And you listen to the Chargers talk. And the way the Chargers spoke, and the way Coach
Staley and Tom Telesco talked about it.
Brandon Staley, yeah. But the way Staley talked about it, when he pitched, I think, to become the head coach, to become the offensive mind, he's like, we're going into L.A. We need to have an explosive, entertaining brand of football. It's like, with Anthony Richardson, we automatically have that. I think that is miles ahead than what we were.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that is a big deal, too, even if we do fucking suck next year, Pac-Man.